Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. My co-host Tina Bird. So we're going to make this a series. Uh, it's going to be continuous to all the topics I put up on this show, and it's going to be added into the UFO world as well because that's the main part of it all. But greetings, Tina. How are you today?
Greetings, Tommy. A bit tired today, but apart from that, I'm doing well. Lots of news going on in the US about drones and pictures, and then the news from the White House that Donald Trump's new press secretary said it was the FAA's drones doing surveys, even though they didn't know what it was. So that surprised me a bit. But apart from that, there's lots to delve into. Let's get on with it. Any good news this week or any more news?
Well, there's never good news, but there's always news. But people, I'm going to say this straight out. Everything I talk about, everything Tina talks about is as real as it can get. It's not no program. It's not no dream world. It's reality called actual experience. I call it direct experience that I had or she had, plus the people that we totally trust. I'm talking about family members. I don't go into too many friends because there are a lot of storytellers out there. And the biggest one in the whole UFO world on the planet is Stephen Greer. We'll get into that maybe today. I don't know. But I want to just bring this up. There was a bad plane crash here. A plane was hit by a black helicopter. All right. If you watch the actual video, it shows you the helicopter going straight into the plane. Impossible. If they have any guidance on the helicopter or the plane, they could have saw it happen, which they did. Now, they're not going to say how the helicopter crashed into it or why. They're going to come up with some ridiculous stories. I guarantee it. But a black helicopter is a helicopter, not a jet. They're not traveling at 300 into a plane. That is the most craziest, ridiculous thing. Except we have so many helicopter crashes here in a year's time, which is ridiculous in Hawaii. So let's see what the news comes out within the next day, what they're going to tell us, how it happened. Oh, he fell asleep at the wheel. Maybe. But other than that, they're not going to tell you anything really important what's going on.
Was it a mid-air crash, Tommy, or was it on takeoff or landing?
In mid-air. The plane's flying and a black helicopter goes boom right into it and explodes. Ridiculous. I don't think they found anybody alive yet. There were 60 people. Now, the one thing I would say, let's see the list of the 60 people that were on that plane. And then let's see the list of who was driving the helicopter. We'll see if there's any famous names on that, all right? Because if that was, they're not going to admit ever that could have been driven by a drone. It was a drone helicopter or a programmed person. Either way, it couldn't have been a normal situation. But I don't want to spend all my time on that. The news isn't out yet. They're not reporting their ridiculous stories yet either. We're going to get into so many things, but I don't know how long Tina can stay here. She's going to try to stay here as long as she can. I can't do the show longer than an hour. I have to do something exactly 9 o'clock. But here's the thing, people. This show will be continuous every week now. It might go up and down in time because of her situation or mine. But I promise you, nothing but the truth. I give my life to my truth that's I consider from God, not from anybody else's story or fairy tales. One word before we get started. There's a word in the UFO world, and it's called experiences. And I call it in government, I call it programmed. Now, two of those people, both names, are programmed by something. All right. Experiences could just be a dream or programmed by an alien or government. And government people are just programmed. All right. I'm not going to go into that yet either. That's going to take a whole show to do. But we're going to deal with what's going on between her and me right now, the past week or two, because right now in Hawaii, we have so much UFO activity and nobody's talking about it. So I'm going to give it over to Tina to talk for a little while. Tell them what's going on in your world, what's going on over you and around you. All right, Tina?
Okay. So thank you, Tommy, for that. So, guys, we like to mix it up a bit each week. But again, the main focus is abductions and UFOs. It's not about supernatural things and things like that. We can touch on other things as well. It's the information now that's coming forward. My point of view, my stance in the world of ufology is, yes, it's real. It's out there. Now, the American government, I was watching their discussions. Is it in the House, the Senate, when they've been questioning people? I'm not quite sure on the American side of it, but it's been deadly silent across the pond here in the UK. There's not been ufology talks. The government haven't said anything. They've not explained anything to the public. It's just been a wall of total silence from the military. They're having massive cutbacks and closures here in the UK. They're saying it's a state of the economy or whatever, but I think there's more to it than that. But just to touch on something that was briefly washed over, I'll try and dig the clip out and send it to Tommy for next week if I can. I watched something on the TV at this talk at the with the Congresswoman and man, and they're now saying abduction is real and the harm UFOs do, and they say, well, if the government is saying UFOs aren't real because apparently the Pentagon's still remaining very tight-lipped over this, then what are they doing paying disability benefits to military personnel that have sustained debilitating injuries from being in close contact to a UFO? So this person is retired from the military and is getting American disability benefits. He's been disabled from what the UFO or being in a close proximity to a UFO has done to him. Now, one, it tells you, yes, it's happening and it's real, which they know. And two, they are paying, so they should, for injuries to a human. Now, why aren't they paying to all human beings? They've admitted paying this to a military personnel. John Burroughs, I believe his name was. That was from what happened here in England in the Rendlesham Forest incident. Now, if they're paying him disability benefits from being near, and it's proven that this thing, the incident he was in has affected him and disabled him in some way, it's affected some part of his body, then they're willing to pay compensation and tell you this person's been injured and we're paying for that compensation because we know this incident happened and it's affected you this way because they have medical evidence. So abductees come forward and say this has happened. We have medical evidence. Why aren't the governments across the world compensating abductees? They can test them. You can test abductee if they've got medical evidence. People can test. You can test. So they know that. So why is it just military service personnel that have been pensioned off with disability benefits? Why can't they do it for abductees? I've sustained injuries, and I bet you every single abductee that's ever had any experiment done to him has sustained the same type of injuries. So that's a bit two-faced, isn't it? You can pay it. And they've only found that out because it's been recorded. Now, military spending is recorded because the public paid for it. So if the public and the government are willing to pay for military service personnel because they've been injured by foreign invaders, why aren't they paying their civilian population who have not only, we're not defending their country, they're taking us. And again, it's a war crime. To take somebody against their will, perform operation surgery, steal and take their DNA, ovaries, sperm, anything like that, and perform experiments on them, that is injury. That is a war crime injury. We're not at war, but if they're taking people, invading our airspace, coming here uninvited or invited, where's the government culpability in that? We're paying taxes to the government and a lot of taxes to keep us safe. And no one's holding accountability to the governments. If I went, if a military personnel or I went and slipped up it, in Asda's or Tesco's and broke my leg, and I was off sick from work, the government would have to pay me sick pay, but then they would turn around and want that sick pay back if I was paid injury payments, which you quite rightly it does. The government doesn't want to pay for someone else's injury, so it's a bit two-faced, really, isn't it? It's like a double-sided coin now. You can't have it both ways, government. You can pay them, but they can't pay you. They've had an injury from just being near this thing. We've had injuries from being inside these things and being tested. And, and they produced offspring or tested our DNA. That's a violation of human rights. He didn't have his human rights violated. He was still there. He wasn't taken from the planet. He wasn't tested on. He wasn't cut open. So, the governments need to get their house in order. And I did say a couple of years ago, this is opening a whole can of worms. Now, if they are saying, which they have, because they've been paying this gentleman quite a while, and he's not the only one, by the way. What about abductees that have said they've seen things? Not just been, they've seen things inside crafts, or people that have come forward to say that they've seen UFOs. Well, they've seen UFOs. They may have even been close to them and had unknown damage. They may not have known they've been, biologically damaged. And they've been locked up wrongly with saying, I've seen that. No, you haven't, because it's not real. The government now can't say they're not real if they've been paying this guy since the 80s or 90s. They've known since the 80s or 90s officially, because they're making official payments since then. That's 30 years they've been making benefit payments to people. Surely they're investigating that. That's, surely that's fraud, isn't it? And who's going to give these people their lives back? Who's going to say, sorry, you haven't seen your wife? Sorry, you've lost your job. Sorry, you've missed years with your children. Sorry, your friends don't talk to you. Sorry, you weren't mad. Sorry, we've restrained you and medicated you because you've said you've seen a UFO. People have lost their lives. People have lost their families, jobs, and loved ones. Where's the line going to stop? And we're paid for that, by the way. The average person every day is taxed to death. There's a limit. You haven't got to stop paying taxes and own up to it. Or, you need to find a different system. You need to just draw a line under it, and come forward. Start helping your population, which are paying you to help them. So there's many layers. They're multi-dimensional. There's many, many layers to this. And I think the public are getting a raw deal on it, actually. So with that, I'm going to chuck it back to Tommy for comments. If you guys want to message, email, and jump in, and if you've got anything to say or any evidence, or somebody who's receiving payments, or something locked up wrongly, get in touch, spread the word that the governments across the world can't remain tight-lipped like the UK. If it's going on in one country, it's going on in all the countries. Tommy.
All right, thank you, Tina. Just kind of sorry that we got to do this in the morning on basically the East Coast, West Coast time, because Tina's in England and I'm in Hawaii. Our time's so different. But the show is recorded, so if you are watching this, you're probably watching it recorded earlier in time. But my email's up there, Hawksblood1AOL. Call or text me or Tina anytime. We'll try to see if the story is worth putting on the show, or if you have some really important stuff and some kind of provable facts behind you, I'd love to bring you on. All right, now, in Hawaii alone, I'm dealing with so many people that have seen UFOs in the past month or two. On that, trying to get them to come on is a little bit hard. Most people are afraid to talk about what they're seeing. They don't want to be considered crazy. I'm beyond that point. It started when I was 6 years old, so I really don't care what people think. They want the truth, they can listen. They don't, they can just switch channels, go somewhere else. But as I said, this will be the highest truth you can get out of all the TV shows on TV, all the lectures and conferences you go to around the world. They got great stories, and they're not telling you that the main point of why aliens are here. Very few people know. Tina has a lot more clues to that than anybody else in the UFO world out there speaking today. She was given a special award and everything else because she's real and people know it. But I would consider her one of the top people in abductions in the United States and the world, talking and able to talk about abduction, which has been happening for over 100 years. It became more out there, and at the time it did, it was considered mainstream delusional people. When I was working with people when I was 21, women lost their children to abduction. All right. And they were proving it. And I helped these people get through it. I wasn't out writing books. I wasn't out trying to make money off of them. I was trying to help them survive losing a child at almost 9 months pregnant. I saw the sonograms or X-rays and all the words they used in those days. But one woman lost 2 children in 3 years. She was allowed to see both of them once and told she'll never see them again, which she never did. But people like that don't come out and brag about it. They don't want to be put in a nut house or anything else. But, you know, the one story I can tell you straight out, she went to the hospital the day after they took her child. When they did all the tests on her, they said, you're not pregnant. You couldn't have been pregnant. There's no evidence of it. And this is the day after she had the sonogram done and everything else, proving that there was a living being inside her. All right. The government can't talk about this, and they won't. They never did research on it or cared to do the research. But then when it comes to abductees, which Tina is something they can't admit to. They don't want to, because they'd have to pay medical for all these people, because they didn't defend us against what's attacking us. And if the government can't do that, what good are they, people? So I'm telling you straight out, this is as real as it gets, this show. Questions, please send this link to everybody you know. I'm open. I'm willing to debate anybody in the UFO world. But there's something going on. Hopefully, I'm finding out online. I was in the Skinwalker Ranch for almost over a year. And a couple other people in the UFO world show paying $10, $12 a month to be in it. Richard Dolan. All right. These people don't get back to you. And I only joined the show to talk to them, not to listen to the bull.
Oh, guys, it looks like we're having problems.
Uh-oh, you're freezing.
With technical difficulties with signal. It seems that every time a lot of the time it's signal, but it only happens when we do the show. Any other time it's normally okay. But Tommy is in Hawaii, where they're having massive problems with the volcanoes there on the Big Island of Hawaii. So they're experiencing eruptions and things like that. So I guess that probably interfere.
Tina, we have Tommy's signal.
But Tommy's right. They some of the older cases. There you go. Tommy's back now.
We have a major storm hitting us.
Hello, Tommy. You've been off for a little while. There's been no signal shown on the screen.
You were frozen on my end. You were frozen on my end, and I was still going. So who knows who's seeing what on replay? We'll have to see.
You were frozen on my end.
But the storm's hitting us. It's supposed to be super wind, super rainfall, and everything else today. Volcanoes going on and off, and it's pouring down the mountain. So there's a lot going on here. But the UFO activity is crazy. I can't film anything in the rain. But the other night, and this is amazing to me, the sky was pure black. Usually it means super heavy clouds. So I woke up, looked out my window, and this ball of light ship blinked at me.
Slow signal now, so I do apologize for that.
Wait, I saw this ball of light blink at me out the window, and I said, "Oh, I got to go outside."
Another minute. We give it a chance to come back. But
So
Tommy's right. So abductees, people seem to forget. They now say that people can summon UFOs. I think they've been able to do that for a while. And like I said before, I went to an adoption meeting for people that.
Anyone listening in the chat room, please just say who you hear. Can you hear Tina or me? Because she's blocking out and think it's me. I'm here and she's blocking out and I think it's her. But again, not only is the government watching this show, so is everybody that shouldn't be watching it. The people that should be watching it are not. People that need the truth, want the truth, probably didn't see the site. But it's up to other people to send the links to everybody they know. Because this is as real as it's. I have direct experience, and so does Tina. Not like Stephen Greer and all the other people speaking. Richard Dolan says, I think. I don't want to hear I think. Who wants to hear people say they think? Who wants to hear programmed people say, well, this is what was going on, but zero proof? When you go inside the government and you're talking about aliens and working with them and ships and all that, I'm sure you could have taken pictures of it and had proof and all that. But they come out what? 25 years later, and then telling the truth. I mean, what kind of person are you? I deal with the truth instantly. Whatever happens today, tomorrow, or yesterday, I'll report it. I'm not going to wait till I die. On the other hand, my brother was in the Army. He was a scientist. He won't tell me anything. He wouldn't tell me anything for 35 years. Because I'm not allowed to say anything for 25 years. He told me one thing, and he's dying now. So I'm going to try to get him to tell me as much more as he can before he does. But hold on, there's something in the chat room. But Tina, what do you think about what's really going on with the government telling us about what's happening or not happening with these drones in Jersey specifically?
So I think there's more. Like it's abductees for years, and people who've said they've seen things for years. We've had it in for paintings, and they've known since the 1800s, officially known that they're here. I mean, they are here. People, it's like I believe. Belief is like, don't get me started. We won't go down that road today, but they are here. It is going on, and the government their feet are in two types of different ponds, if you like. It's tell the truth and you're knackered, you're buggered, and don't tell the truth and just keep up with the lie and silence. But unfortunately, these people have cameras today. These people are congressmen and women coming forward. These people are pilots coming forward. It's no longer the mass population pilots. It's all human beings now are coming forward, mainly on the east coast of America. People that live there, everyday people like me and you. I think they've had over 3,000 people with photographs that all kind of match. Cannot be wrong. And if they're saying they can't identify them, that is an unknown object. No one's saying it's little green men or little grey men. It's not. It's an unknown object. So, not everything is a UFO. Yes, I understand that. Not everybody is nuts because, if so, the human race, or you could call us nuts for paying tax and not getting anything in return. But, yeah, it is going on, and it's an insult to the public. It's an insult to the officials that we put in place to help us. It's an insult to people who can't make. You're telling me a grown rear admiral or a grown full-blown general or a colonel can't come forward and tell the truth in the line of duty? Where's the patriotism in that? Where's the, where's the shoulder to shoulder being human, all worlds one? And, if you can't get on with your neighbours, then fine. But don't pretend you can't even get on with your public and tell the truth to your own people. Then there's something seriously wrong. Yeah, I think it's, they're making a mockery of the institution of safety and armed forces. And the personnel that they've worked their whole careers got to stand by and watch the person next to them or the person in front or the person above them deliberately tell lies. How demeaning is that to these airmen, airwomen, Navy people? And it's horrendous, so that's another side to it. And you've got to stand there and swallow that rubbish. And now the public, apart from all of that, the public are telling you, we want answers, this is going on. They're not going to be fubbed off with rubbish. If the FAA put a ban in place, then why were they still seeing UFOs? Because the UFO people obviously didn't know that there was a ban in place. And if it was the FAA, which they said it was, flying these drones, then they've broken their own rules of enforcement. So what's going on there? You're putting out a false statement because you're saying, everything's banned in the sky, and then you're deliberately putting up drones for servicing. I'm sure there's suable offence in America saying you're doing one thing and then not, and then deliberately going out and hoaxing people. Then are you? If you're saying don't fly, but then fly your own drones? And if the American government is paying for all this anti-drone technology, then it obviously doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you're telling me they have all this anti-drone technology and you can't bring one of these drones down, your technology doesn't work. You have all these technology to identify aircraft, where they are, town numbers, space objects. They know it's just from a blip on a radar that it's a piece off a satellite, but they can't tell you what a UFO is. You've either been sold a heap of junk and someone's lying to you about it, magic equipment that don't work, and you're training people that obviously don't know what they're looking at. It's an insult to the people in that industry, and you're spending the taxpayers' money on equipment that doesn't work. So, exactly. Look at the guests in our chat room are saying that they don't believe him. No, you're quite right to say if you've got is it equivalent to mayors over there, mayors, policemen, Congress people in authority, and if you've got coast guards, so drones, then how can the FAA fly drones out of the water, which the Coast Guard witnessed at least 8 drones coming out of the water and flying off in the sky? Well, how is that possible then? They've got submergible drones that can like transmedium drones now. They've got that much advanced technology, but you can't identify one. Whoever's buying for the US military needs to sack him. But sorry, Tommy, carry on.
All right. Yes, this person's asking me questions about what went on with me and John. I don't want to get into that right now. I want to get back to the drones over New Jersey. It's happening everywhere. I don't want to get into the fires right now, but there was drones there over California, over Hawaii as well. But there was also the green beans coming down, which nobody wants to talk about. But people, the drones over New Jersey, I'll get into that real fast. I worked with a partner, I'm not going to say his name, for many years. And we went up to a part of New Jersey filming creatures, entities, UFOs. Every other night we were there for 2 to 3 hours, from 10 to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning even. Filming, watching all kinds of weird phenomena. But during that time frame, there was a vortex there, which is the one that was created because of the Philadelphia experiment, which was real, people. We do have the ability to do time travel. In those days, in 48, 49, around there, the ability of that machine was gigantic. They had to put it on a ship, which was called the USL Eldridge. But basically, they shrunk it down. The unit is quite small now that they can use, but the government can never release that information, and they won't. Because I was friends with the only person at that time that went back in time. I was friends with him until he died. Now, everybody's saying the Philadelphia experiment was not a real story. It was. What really happened, they don't want to admit that either. Then we had Preston Nichols come out and making up stories. He worked with.
No, they did, because it's a lot of it is people can say things are false, but you need to do your research, like the USS Eldridge and things like that. The same guy performed the autopsy or medical examiner that was used at Roswell was the same one on the Philadelphia experiment, guys. And that's on American payroll list. So check out what he was being paid for. It tells you. He signed the documents.
All right, people.
If they made it up, there's no documents to sign.
People, I'm going to say this straight out. I knew a friend from MJ12, the most highest classified organization, group, people in the United States and probably the world. The one I knew was killed. His whole family was killed, and then they killed him. But outside of that, I worked with Tesla, worked with DuPont, and it was the biggest UFO incident that ever happened in the United States that I know of as well. And they covered that up completely. Peter Moon put out his books and talked about other countries and everything else about aliens and time. But the truth is, only 2 people, the person I work with and I, were working with Tesla, actually worked with DuPont, where the United States Army flooded a city. And for 9 months, UFOs went in and out of that reservoir, frozen or not. So that what Mr. Tesla actually wrote in his notes, I actually got part of them to read, and he did admit, and this is for real, people, I'm putting my life on the line, he did say he worked with aliens. Now, he didn't go to super college to learn how to build 200 inventions. He didn't come out of college with 50 deadly weapons that he gave to the United States. So it's the most untold story, which is twisted and molded into a car, and Tesla car and all that. It has nothing to do with that. He was creating a doomsday weapon when he kind of disappeared for 10 years before he died. He was living in a hotel room in New York City. He wasn't allowed to touch, or he wouldn't touch nobody, wouldn't let anybody do anything near him. Whether it was really him, a drone, a programmed zombie, whatever. But again, The whole truth about him was squashed. What he really did, what he released. He invented inventions that will slowly destroy the world. Now, one thing I got to throw in here right now, go online, type alien interrogation. It's a real thing. It's not a puppet. It's not a man-made story. It was really filmed, and there was one alien that they interviewed and tortured to try to make him say things. But the alien's not telling you the truth. But watch it anyway, because there's many things that happened after that, and especially who controlled the Greys in the United States at that time. And there was one alien that did, and his name was Evie. All right, I can tell you a person, Sean David Martin, just died right before Christmas. His book, Sands of Time, read it. It explains the war since the beginning of the Army and Navy with Germany and Russia and UFOs. But Russia are not sending ships over us. China is not sending us ships over New Jersey, watching us. I see them here every day. Now, my friend next door 2 days ago saw a ship come super low, but it went across the whole sky within a matter of seconds, no sound.
Can I just jump in there? Tommy's right. Yeah. It's not just in the US. They've been seen off the coast of Brazil and the UK, by the way, guys. So, but it's not been out on the news. It's locally, or I'm not sure, in the UK, the last like 5-8 years has been like a news blanket. All these smaller, what they call smaller stories, it's been squashed and not about that. I mean, Crystal, what's your point? Can I just ask our person in the chat room, Crystal? But to me, when people say, I believe in UFOs, that's a belief. That's an act of religion belief, and I have nothing against that. There's a difference between knowing. I'm going to say, do you think UFOs are real, or do you think it's made up? What's your stance, and what's your interest in that? Can I just ask? Because it'd be really interesting to find out.
All right, what I wanted to add to that, okay, this whole drone thing, Russian ships, Chinese ships are nothing like what we have. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mr. Putin told Trump they're working with 27 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. But that's what he told Trump. And he said it on Russian TV as well. But here's the thing, people. All the stuff you can film, and they showed videos of the Russian ships, German ships, and all that. None of them had any abilities to do anything important. Now, this year, the United States is releasing the most advanced spaceship, not Mr. Musk's ship, because he released a ship that was, $2 billion. The one the United States built was $44 billion. It has every weapon that Mr. Tesla invented on it. It'll be the most deadliest thing on the planet. It will bring the United States back to number one. Not Mr. Trump. He might try to take credit for it. Musk might try to take credit for it, but he didn't invent it. He didn't work on it. He released his own jet. But see, now Musk is a threat to the world. He just released the most dangerous jet that travels faster than any jet.
To be honest with you, Tommy, this is why I love talking to Tommy, because he comes with great ideas and I can't have something to argue about. Tommy's right to a point. I mean, the greatest threat is maybe like I don't think it's Elon Musk. No, nowhere near it. The biggest threat are the people within the forces that withhold the information from the public. They're the biggest threat to the human race. If they are leaving us wide open for these incursions or being invited down, and we have no defense against them, that is the biggest threat to the human population there is. Not telling us not to be prepared, not that we could do anything, but to leave your public helpless and spend money on what? I'm sorry. If UFOs don't exist, what are you spending the money on? And if they do exist, why aren't you protecting us? I think you're buggered both ways, technically. I mean, if you've got high-ranking officers that are willing to tell the truth to cover up a lie, where does that leave your citizens? They're the biggest threat to mankind. Sorry, Tommy, carry on.
And I'm a rebel. I'm hardcore. I've been in this since I was 6 years old with direct experience, people. So I'm not making up stories. There's nothing I want other than putting the truth out there. Before I die, the only thing I care about is people know aliens are here and they are not good. No alien race has ever helped the human race in all of history. Atlantis, the most beautiful spiritual community, city, realm, world.
I've got a question. Sorry. I've got a question every time that I
Wait,
get.
wait, wait.
Sorry,
When
carry
that
on.
was destroyed, aliens reprogrammed the human race, and we became massive killers, sacrificing people, women, and children. We became evil, and we never adapted to becoming less than that or better than that. So when people talk about history, all the history is useless. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs all followed aliens. They didn't follow any form of God. Aliens love playing the role of God, even though they don't have one. The Anunnaki story is another big lie programmed by Zachariah Sitchin, and the UFO world believe it, and they accept it as truth. If I write something today and 10,000 years from now they find it, will it be true or will it be a lie? Just because somebody writes something doesn't make it real. The Bible was written by men, not God. The Emerald tablets were not written by man, people. I studied them for 2 years. I studied with a medicine woman that taught techniques and stuff. The real word of ascension. Only 2 people in all of history went through it, not every spiritual person out there claiming this, that, and the other thing. It has nothing to do with aliens. People, we're following an alien government. They're controlled by aliens. Whether anybody wants to admit that, these rich multi-billionaires and trillionaires, what is going on in their brain? All right, Musk is completely programmed to go to Mars. Now, Trump says, oh, I want to put a flag on Mars. Nothing on Mars will help us, and it's taking so much money from the United States for
At the end
no
of the day,
reason.
I think the American people, they said in the 1950s that they were going there. And before Roswell came out, they were saying, oh, yeah, they were already on the way to Mars. So if they were already on the way to Mars, they should have been there back and built a whole city by now. I mean, what is going on? I mean, I see we've had a reply in the chat room. All right. But I think people are missing a big bit. I think this is just a hypothesis for me. I think that they it's hard, right? Yes. I believe was their planet. I think before we even came, or before they put us here. I mean, if they can now say that human DNA or DNA traces, whatever you, pre-exist dates the Earth, then where did we come from? That time they took me, and I must have asked this question because it's difficult to understand if you're asking a question when you're in their flow. But for them to turn around and show me, we didn't come from here. They showed me what happened. It's something they did that brought us here. Whether we are a zoo and that's it, or whether we come here or whether we pre-existed in another form here before. And came from another planet, like grew as bacteria. Obviously, they're saying that is the case. But, they've got the panspermia theory. But whatever happened is, now like Göbekli Tepe, they have unearthed other cities, other grounds, other ruins that predate mankind. And I watched like Mel Gibson said the other day, they even said in the Bible, go forth and multiply again, one of the words that they translated down in Jewish. We were here before. And I think we got so technically advanced, so far advanced with technology that we either left the planet back then, did an Elon Musk, if you like, and then left the planet and went. And then, catastrophe struck the Earth, which all the data shows across the world. There was a massive flood, again, which backs up the Bible story, So there are telltale signs throughout history that we've started again and started again and started again. There comes a time when they have all this technology and they can't prove one thing they're saying. First of all, the dinosaurs ruled the earth before humans. Then they can't explain Göbekli Tepe. Then it's humans came from Earth, they didn't come from anywhere else. But then they can't explain how old DNA is. They say one thing, but they can't prove anything. Tommy, sorry.
Let me just throw 2 cents in there. If you really want to get in that one day on the show, we will. I spent my whole life on 2 paths, the UFO world and spiritual truth. All right. I had 5 death experiences. I spent 45 years learning to travel out of my body. I met with deities and angels and so-called, I won't say it, but people, the truth is not out there. The government will never admit to God. I mean, they said they found the God gene, last year? And they're going to never prove the truth. They'll prove the lie. Now, a scientist very old came out and said, nothing beyond our ozone layer is actually provable, meaning everything the government says about this, that, and the other thing are all lies, which it is. The black hole, they actually admitted that there's no such thing as a black hole. They're admitting that Einstein said there's nothing bigger than a certain size, and that was proven wrong 2 years ago. Einstein worked with an alien race in some kind of visions. Tesla worked with aliens in the physical. Big difference. Tesla created 200 actual inventions. Einstein did absolutely nothing to prove anything he said other than give us theories that we're trying to prove that are wrong. He said we couldn't go back and forth in time, which we can. All right, people. This is going to get more intense as we do the shows moving forward. I'm as real as it gets. All these speakers at the UFO conferences go on about bull. I mean, take somebody like Linda Moulton Howe that's been lecturing on cattle mutilation for 40 years, has zero proof of anything.
I like Linda. I think she is getting there, though. She knows her stuff. You can't take that away from her.
Well, again, she takes lies. No, 90% of everything she's putting out there was stolen from other people, which is lies. Nobody can prove an alien's really here right now. The government can, and they won't. All right. Now, I have a friend who died right before Christmas. He was the one that discovered Area 51. He brought people up there every other month in a van to watch the mothership land there. And I'm talking 35 years ago. Every other month, he wanted me to go up there with him. He went on Montel Williams. Montel Williams says, oh, I'm going to come up there, and I'll go. And he didn't. He refused to go that month. He went the next month, met with the 4-star general and said, oh, no, there's nothing going on there. You know, there's Area 51, 52, 53, and 54. Each one has a different alien base there. And nobody can talk about that, and nobody will. I'm putting my life on the line every single time I do a show. I'm not afraid to leave this planet. The government can't take my soul away, which they're even talking about now. All right, reprogramming the soul and putting it in a different body. I'll tell you this. In Jersey, they made 4 super soldiers. It could be 6 now or whatever. But they were 8 feet tall, red eyes, super strong, and they were radioactive. But they sent them somewhere. Who knows where these super soldiers actually went? But people, the truth's there. And it's not going to come out because basically what's going on with our government has nothing to do with normal people. The underground cities in the past 25 years.
I think you guys can see how we've had technical difficulties.
Well, Tina, I was told that they're still seeing everything going on, you and me. So you're freezing on your camera. So in your area, but you're not freezing online. But getting back to this, okay, what's really going down is about the underground cities, which nobody talks about. Now, Jesse Ventura exposed it before his show was taken off the air. All right. Now, one person in government talks how much money is going into that. I'm going to get into the water shortage and all those other things in the next couple of shows, where the water disappeared from California and all these kind of things. The underground city has the best food, best air, best technology. And nobody's talking about it. Only super rich people know. I guarantee if we could sit open down and sit down and make it talk, we would find out a lot more, because she bought 100 acres right next to the fire in Maui. Months right after it burnt down. Another multi-billionaire bought the land on the other side, another 100 acres. Why would they do that? They just said it's valued like about 20 times more valuable now, all the land that's there.
Can I ask, is there an underground volcano in that area? Is that it, or is it just brush fire that's so dry?
A volcano starts underground, so whether you want to say it's underground or not. But when I first came here about 22 years ago, I met a friend. He was a Rastafarian. He was selling incense, and I started talking to him. We got into it over a couple months, and he said, come to my house. I want to show you videos of ships going in and out of the volcano, which he did. And I'm talking 22 years ago. He wanted to do a movie. I looked at him and said, they're too fuzzy and too grainy. We wouldn't be able to do a movie on that. But since then, he disappeared. So I have no clue what's going on with him. But the truth is here. Now, if you want to see a UFO, I got a manual how to see a UFO, but it's simple. Go out every morning for 2 hours from 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning and watch the sky. Don't stare at a star. Just watch the whole sky. You're going to see multiple crazy things. If you got money, buy a nighttime camera. All right, a night vision camera. You'll see the ships. You'll
Guys,
be
if
able
you
to
live
film
in
them.
Southampton in the UK, just wait till it gets dark outside and look up. You haven't even got to buy a fancy pair of binoculars. Just look up in the UK. Yeah, you'll see
Now,
something.
to answer that question, we have 2 volcanoes here in Hawaii. They're not a tunnel, and they go down the tunnel and they pop up wherever they want, but it's coming from one volcano. All right. I mean, I was watching it when it was going down. We had to move for 6 months, and then it stopped about a mile and a half before it hit where I was living. People. Now, remember, Tesla created the first earthquake machine in 1900, which was given to the government. Now, it's easy to create an earthquake, but what's going on right now, it's easy to create a volcano to make it erupt. It's easy to create a lot of different things with our technology. A directed energy beam is the most deadliest weapon on the planet as of now, publicly. But they have so many more inventions Tesla gave them that they're not going to ever release to the public. Realize China and Russia are all fighting for weapons. And they're talking about a hydrogen bomb, but there's a proton bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb, and they all are useless compared to the new technology that we have.
Yeah, look at the alien orbs. With that, Tommy, I'm just going to say a quick thing about my book before I go today. I want to stay longer, but I'm really feeling it today. But with that, thanks, guys, for coming on the show. Like I said, Tommy's put his email up at the beginning. So if you look back through the chain, please email Tommy with any messages. If you'd like to come on the show, if you'd like to interview us, if you have a question for us, or if you have an answer to a previous question we asked that we don't know, please come on and let us know. We're always open. And tell us your theories. We can't be the only ones to have thoughts and theories, and we'd like to hear from you. You know, the only people out there looking after each other is the public. We're all part of mankind together. It's a pity some institutions didn't look at it that way. But anyway, guys, this is one of my books. This particular one is just about my abduction experience. It's called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's by there, T.A. Bird, my beautiful sister-in-law. Managed to put that on there. She did that for me. Sadly passed away last year, but it's absolutely wonderful work. And that's the back of it. It's The Truth About Alien Abduction, and it just contains my account from when I was younger, what happened to me, the year I came out, and what happened, you know, when they took me places in the bubble, things I've seen. I might do another one because I have pictures of like my x-rays inside me, and I have all that with all the bits and pieces. So, but this is the book. This is my first book about The Bonded. I do have other books out there, guys. If you like a bit of erotic material, I've done The Checkpoint. It's just a short story, and I've done a good sci-fi one. Well, it's called The Guardians of the Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. There you go. And I'm going to write in the part 2 because I absolutely love that. Absolutely brilliant book to read. And it goes on The Guardians of the Light and the Brotherhood of the Night, not to be missed. Very good read. T.A. Bird. Now, you can get these, guys. If you go onto Amazon Kindle Unlimited, you can get them for free. You don't have to pay for them. They're on Amazon Kindle Unlimited, and they are free. But you can also buy them on Kindle, or you can buy a paperback like that. This is that big because I tried to get photos into it, and even Amazon couldn't do it. I sent my photos to Amazon, and they couldn't even do it. So it was originally that big to enlarge the photographs, but Amazon couldn't do it. So I apologise for the size. That one is a brilliant read, and of course I've got another book out. But Tommy also has books out, believe it or not. Tommy has many books out. You should give them a read. I'm telling you, Tommy should put a little list up one day. But guys, I'll see you. Sorry, I'm struggling to talk now. Guys, I'll see you next week, and keep looking up. All you got to do is look up, ask your neighbours if they see what you'd see. Those big bright yellow stars in the sky and orange stars aren't really stars. Get a pair of binoculars, take a picture of your phone, zoom your picture in, and then you'll see exactly what's up there. But with that, Tommy, you've been great. Tommy has many, many books, which hopefully one day he's going to get lists and put up so you can buy them. But Tommy's got years. What I love about Tommy, he's got years of experience. He's lived on this planet. He's seen it. He's been there. You know, you don't have to believe. Just pick up a book and read it, or look for yourself. Research is the key. But I'll see you all next week.
Well, Tina, thank you so much. Stay better, stay healthy the best you can. I'm so glad you're still here. Love and light till next time. Call me, text me, anything important. Tina gets to see ships over her house every night. So guess what? They're watching her. All right, Tina.
Good night, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all next week. Have a great
right.
time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, Tina Berg, great person, very sick. We proved she was radioactive. I didn't make her take out a Geiger counter this show. Maybe next one. But she actually put 3 Geiger counters over the past 2 years, trying to find out if it's real or not. And she's really contaminated with radiation. All her symptoms are actually related to radiation poisoning. But people, this is as real as it gets to show people. I'll debate any person on the planet, Musk, Trump, the Pope, the Dalai Lama, any one of them, about the truth, about God, and about. But see, I don't try to do that because Tina has her limited viewpoint about spiritual truth because she's not protected in any way. Why would you believe in God, angels, Jesus, or any of those things if every bad thing that happened to you is happening to her? The pain, the suffering. Over the past 3 years, we did a show. It's incredible how much she's putting up with. But it's the effect of radiation. And she got it from being on ships, which she still is. But normal people would have died. So I keep telling her, I didn't say today, but I do tell her, the aliens are keeping her alive. If you read her book, you'll find out she has children on a ship that they don't understand how she can communicate with all of them, and things like that. So it's really interesting, the truth, not the lies. Lies just take you nowhere, make you believe in lies that, oh, nothing's going to happen. Oh, the government's creating all this fake scenario of aliens. No, the puppets and things like that aren't going to create an alien invasion. If they're blasting beams out of the sky and walking on a planet, it's not going to be puppets. All right. And when you shoot it and blast it and it falls on the ground, it's not going to be a bunch of material, metal and parts and batteries and all that kind of stuff. There's so much going on, people. I wish I could get into everything in one day, which is impossible. But I will be going into all the topics I've listed already every show. I'm going to try to do another show every other week. I mean, during the week outside of this one. Like I said, Tina doesn't want to talk about spirits and things in great detail. She doesn't know much about it, never dealt with it. I spent my whole life leaving my body, 5 death experiences, and you name it. So it is real. But what's going on in that realm is so different, especially with the New Age spiritualists, so-called healers, and medicine people and all that. They do not understand the word God. It is not this being that watches over you to protect your sorry ass. But with that, people, I'm not going to be here only 3 more minutes, but please write me, call me, text me. Skype is Hawksblood11. Friend me, and then we could talk on Skype if you want to talk physically and visually. I don't hide from who I am. I don't change. My name has been Hawksblood for a long time, ever since I put my first book out. But see, Tina doesn't realize all my books are spiritual. My last book was about for women only, based on how women have been persecuted all through history and what's happening to women now, why they accept what they're going through, which they shouldn't. People, there's my book now for women is for women only, understanding a man's ego. All right. And that's going to come into play because Trump and Musk ego is way too big for both of them. And 2 egos like that will never get along. They'll pretend for a while, but Trump wants to do his thing, be a dictator. Musk wants to buy the world. And between those two, Trump wants to go to Mars, and so does Musk. Trump wants to put a flag on Mars, but Musk wants to create a base and city up there, as well as a space city in Texas. But a lot of that money will be coming from the United States. Trump's bringing them in as that and stuff. So we're going to be screwed every which way. And how do you hurt the public? Take away their money, their food. Take away their medical. And that's what's going to happen. Who knows how long before I lose everything, or all the middle-class poor people lose everything. It'll be too soon. But with that, people, enjoy your day, enjoy your night, wherever you are. Please listen to this show, call in, give us questions, give us whatever. You really have some answers that you think are really important. Please text me, and then we could work on that as well. But this is real as it gets. It's not a TV show. I'm not here to make money. I pay money for the show. I pay about $55 a month to do the show. I don't get it back. People that try to make money are sick. People that claim to be somebody, any title, president, governor, mayor, medicine man, shaman, preacher, all right, even a healer, all those words are ego. Nobody has any of those powers for real. And I took hypnosis, started doing it at 14 years old. Problem with that is the power that there is, black magic, voodoo, witchcraft. There's a difference between black and white magic. I was a white priest. All right. I'm 16 for maybe 4 or 5 years. I challenged every so-called high priest in the mob, and you name it, because they all claim this, that, and the other thing, putting spells on people. All right. Magic, but it cannot be used wisely on this planet, people. Not no more. There's nobody spiritual enough to do any of the psychic abilities at 100%. If anybody had psychic abilities, even 50%, they could go to a casino and win half of the money from the casino. If somebody had it 100%, they would be the richest person on the planet. But that's not happening. All right, people. With that, I got to say goodbye. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, look for it. We'll get into love one day as well. You believe in all these fallacies, false stories, and belief systems. Trump is not a savior. He's working under the disguise of a demon. So is Musk. And what's going to happen to the world will deteriorate the poor people, the middle class people, just as the white rich people and Spanish people came into the United States and killed and slaughtered 50 million native people because they wanted their land. And Trump's going to take their land now and try to put oil wells on it and everything else. But we're in trouble, people. The sky is falling. UFOs, aliens are everywhere. Something's going down. And who's going to break it? It will be aliens when they want to break it out open. The government can't say what they did with people, abductions. They can't admit to that. The government allowed aliens to take 10,000 people a year, and there was no way to count 10,000 people a year, the same as, you're allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins, or you're allowed to kill 10,000 whales, because there is no way to keep a record of that. With that, people, please tune in next Thursday, but I'll try to do a show before that, closer to the word spiritualism. I never say I'm spiritual, because I'm not. I'm on planet Earth in hell. When I leave it, I can say I'm spiritual and not come back. All right, people. Big Island of Hawaii. Thank you for listening, tuning in. Send this link to everybody you can. Till next time. We'll get into people more so as well. Love and light. For a word.